Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. And this is This Week in Recruiting.
Cruden. I think we're going to go with Cruden.
Cruton.
Cruden.
There you go. This Week in Cruton.
That was good.
Okay. Did you get the...
Yeah, it's like it's doing its thing. And
Cool.
Sounded just like a commercial. I like that.
Oh, that's great.
All right. Can we do the segment now?
Yeah, go.
Okay. A lot of things to get to. Let's start with the Commit of the Week. Commit of the Week. You did this exclusively to make Max Thompson happy. The newest commitment for the Iowa State Cyclones, Verdell Edwards.
Yeah.
Tell us about this young man.
I mean, he's a 6'1", 185-pound defensive back that plays both ways for Prestonwood Christian Academy. And we did have to throw a bone to Max this week because Oklahoma closed the game against Iowa State this week. So I know it's been a long week.
Yeah, just wait till Oklahoma offers this kid late in the cycle and takes him away from Iowa State.
That could very well happen because I really feel like Edwards is a steal for Iowa State. He's been overlooked a little bit within the state of Texas, but playing at Prestonwood Christian Academy, he's been a guy who's starred on both sides of the ball. He's a very tough, hard-nosed player, and I think that will fit right in with what Matt Campbell does in the Cyclones program, because that's the type of football player that he likes.
He's really versatile. I know that, and he can play. You mentioned he plays both ways. Where do you project him playing in the second at the next level?
Well, he's played cornerback and wide receiver a lot for Prestonwood, but I think that he'll end up playing safety. I mean, he's a big frame kid. He's long. He could probably come down into the box and make some good plays, but free safety or strong safety, that'll be yet to be determined. But I think as he grows and matures, that safety is probably his position. He's already bigger than Greg Eisworth, the Iowa State player who's out there making all the defensive plays for them right now.
It's about heart at Iowa State, sir. It's about heart.
Heart. My goodness. So that's the commit of the week. It's a very nice pickup for the Clones up there in Ames. So a guy who just kind of popping up on radars now, or at least he just picked up a Baylor offer. We're going to name him our Recruit of the Week. Our Crute of the Week. That we can definitely change. This is our Crute of the Week.
Sure. Our
Crute of the Week is Jahari Rogers, the athlete from Arlington. The Colts are off to a great start, 3-0 to start the year. Jahari Rogers has been great for them. What is it about him that sets him apart?
Well, I think you'll first look at his stats, and you'll see that he's playing quarterback for the Colts. He's 30 for 42 already. He's already passed for 8 touchdowns. You're going to say, well, hey, Greg, why isn't this guy getting offers to play quarterback? Well, he's getting offers to play as an athlete because that's really what he's going to do on the next level. He's 6 foot. He probably doesn't have quite the measurables or the arm strength to be a quarterback on the college level, but he's going to be a heck of a defensive back, possibly a wide receiver. But I really think as he grows and matures, that defensive back spot is going to be his calling card because guys like him are tough to find. I mean, everybody wants those measurables, 6 foot, when they're looking at a defensive back. Well, he passes that. And he just needs to get some experience on the defensive side of the football. So he's only 2020 kids, so he may be in line for a redshirt year, but it still may be too early to call that. I mean, we have to talk about these recruits so early now. It's much different than it was 3 to 5 years ago when we were only talking about this class, the class of 2019. Now we have to talk about these younger kids all the time because that's what the trend that the colleges are following.
We're talking with Greg Powers, a next-level athlete here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. You mentioned the younger kids. We are, let's transition into that. The underclassmen we want to spotlight this week. We're going to go into the trenches, the big hog mollies, and to be starting and to be getting noticed as an underclassman offensive lineman certainly sets you apart. And 2 guys, Bryce Foster and Hayden Connor, picked up a Texas offer this week. These are kids who are on your radar. And obviously on Texas's radar, what is it about these guys that have your interest piqued?
Well, they started as freshmen at Katy Taylor, and how about being the head coach there? You have that offensive line with Bryce Foster, Hayden Connor, and, of course, TCU commitment Andrew Coker. I mean, these guys are massive, and he's still got basically 3 full years with Connor and Foster holding down the left side of that offensive line. I mean, would you not run behind these guys all day long? But these are national recruits. These are guys who, Hayden Connor is going to be a guy who's in the debate to possibly be the top player in the cycle in that class. He's that good. He's all in our the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine the past year. I mean, you saw him all over it. Bryce Foster as well. Connor's that prototypical left tackle, right tackle type of player, and Foster's that interior road grader that can clear pass.
Yeah, Hayden Connor checking in at 6'5", almost 300 pounds, and this is a kid who's just a sophomore, class of 2021 kid. Sky's the limit for both these guys?
Definitely, and you can take a look at, if you check out the recruiting dump this week, you can take a look at their offer list. But one thing that really jumped out to me as it relates directly to Texas and this offer is that Auburn and Herb Hand was one of the first offers for Bryce Foster before he came to UT, and now they've re-offered Foster, and he had a really cool picture where he was a young kid on the field at Texas where he was throwing up the hook'em. So maybe a preview of what's to come with him. I know that they're going to have to beat Texas A&M for his services. The Aggies have already offered him as well.
Yeah, and you imagine that it's there's going to be plenty more where that comes from for these two. They're big stars at the 2021 level. There's another guy that rising up, shooting up the prospect charts. A guy who I believe had to sit out last year after transferring. Transfers from Azle to Weatherford. We're talking about Weatherford quarterback Ken Seals. This is a guy who's pretty much been on our radar pretty much as a freshman, maybe even an eighth grader. We've been hearing about this kid. He's just now finally getting a chance to shine there at Weatherford. So far, so good. For him. Why do you think that? Why do you categorize him as being on the rise?
Well, first off, he didn't play his sophomore season. He walked into this year getting scholarship offers basically off of camps, which does happen, but it doesn't really happen at the rate that he's seen it. Cincinnati, Florida Atlantic, Minnesota, North Carolina State, Nevada, UTEP, and Vanderbilt already offered him before he stepped onto the field to really put together a big highlight package, but there's still a lot of top programs really tracking him closely, and namely in the SEC, Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M. Those are three schools that are really watching his progress closely, and I kind of picked him for this week because I think that first 3 weeks of the season, tape-wise, was very important for Ken Seals, and he's thrown for 7 touchdowns to 1 interception. They did go 1-2, but that was after an 0-10 year last year. So Weatherford has a big game this week against Fort Worth Southwest. That's a winnable game for them, I think. So the Ken Seals factor is big for the community of Weatherford, and it's what he's putting down on tape is big for him.
And this is a guy who you would categorize more as a pro-style quarterback as opposed to a dual threat. He's got kind of functional mobility, but he's not the guy who's going to take off and run for 200 yards in a game.
Definitely. He's a guy who can stay in the pocket, but one thing that I really liked about his tape early on so far this season is that he works well on the run. He works well outside of the pocket, and he's having to do a lot of that at Weatherford because they just don't have the protection, I think, that's most desirable for a top-tier quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch him, just a junior still there at Weatherford, but leading the Roos and their offense. Finally, this week, let's take a look ahead. You are going to Thursday. Tomorrow. You're heading to Denton Ryan and West Mesquite. Going to get a look at a number of players there. Who do you have your eye on out there at Ryan and West Mesquite?
Well, first off, I think all the games are going to end up being on Thursday this week. A lot of them are starting to move because of the inclement weather coming in. But the guy that I'm definitely going to have my eye on actually plays on West Mesquite. I think they're the big underdog probably in this game.
Probably true.
But prospects-wise, they have Dalen Wright, who's a big-time Texas A&M commit, long and strong. He's a big kid. I really like watching him play. He's got that edgy attitude on the field, and he's the guy who can climb the ladder and go get the football. And their running back, Ty Jordan, is a ball of lightning on the football field. I mean, this guy is one of the top athletes in the state, regardless of class. And if you're keeping your eye on Denton Ryan, 2021 prospect Billy Bowman.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy could probably play on either side of the football, at corner or at wide receiver, but he's going to get a lot of offers. And, of course, they have Oklahoma commit Spencer Sanders, who's transferred from Colleyville Heritage to Denton Ryan.
Yeah, and for me, Billy
Drew Sanders.
Drew Sanders.
Drew Sanders.
Yeah.
Spencer
Sanders.
No.
That's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
But Sanders and Sanders,
Right.
Denton Ryan.
Yeah.
Good
No,
catch.
I get that. And the other thing on Billy Bowman, already a Mr. Texas Football Player of the Week nominee this year.
Yes, he is.
3 interceptions in one game.
He's made big strides, and I remember seeing him. I went to a Ryan game last year, and he flashed as a freshman. And when you're able to do that at Ryan, at a program like that, and see the field, then Dave Hennigan doesn't just throw freshmen out there. And Billy Bowman was getting some serious run there for Ryan last year.
And that's what opened my eyes to possibly, is he a defensive back on the next level, because he's only about 5'9", 5'10". Is he going to play in the slot, or is he going to be a defender? That 3 interception game is like, wow, maybe he could play defense as well.
Yes, he is Greg Powers. He's with Next Level Athlete. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at GPowers79, and make sure you follow Next Level Athlete at Next Level D1. Powers, appreciate it. I'm gonna have to call you Powers because
There's too many Gregs in the office.
too many Gregs and Craigs, and it's just gonna screw me up. So Powers, appreciate it. Let's do it again next week.
Thanks, Tap.